back. So what we're looking at today is 4.4 greater than. So let's go ahead and jump right in. So for this first part, we want to write an equation that describes the story, then answer the question asked by the story. So Virginia's painting service charges $10 per job and 20 cents per square foot. If Virginia earned $50 for painting one job, how many square feet did she paint at the job? So we know it costs $10 for every job. So we've got 10 plus our 20 cents per square foot. That's our variable. Our square foot is the variable. And she earned $50. So there's our equation. Now we need to take and solve this. So first thing we do is subtract the 10 from both sides. So we have 20.20x equals 40. Divide by 0.20, divide by, I'm sorry for the weird lines. So you end up with x equals, if we take 40 and divide by 0.20, we end up with 200 feet squared. So she painted a 200 square foot job. So that was the amount of square feet she did at the job. So same idea for number 2. You're going to take and figure out what the equation is and then solve the equation. All right, for number 3, the notation. So what we're doing on 3 through 7 is indicating whether the statements are true or false, and then explain. So for number 3, the notation 12 is less than x means the same thing as x is less than 12. It works just like 12 equals x and x equals 12. Is this true? Here we're saying x is all values less than 12. So 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, so on and so forth. Here we're saying 12 is less than x, which means that x has to be 13, 14, 15. So is this true? No, it's false. We can't switch inequalities around. So we can't switch like equal sign. So we can't switch it like the equal sign. For number 4, the inequality -2 times x plus 10 is greater than or equal to 75 says the same thing as -2x minus 20 is greater than or equal to 75. I can multiply by -2 on the left side without reversing the inequality symbol. This is true. The distributive property does not affect the inequality. So distributive property doesn't affect both sides. So it's only when it affects both sides that then it would take and change the inequality symbol by multiplying by that negative. All right, so you guys have 5, 6, and 7 to determine whether or not the statements are true or false and explain your reasoning. All right, the next section, we're solving inequalities. So solve for x, show your work, indicate if the given value of x is an element of the solution set. So is the value given part of the solution? Because, when we're dealing with inequalities, we have multiple correct answers. So we are looking at number 8 here. So we have 2x minus 9 is less than 3. So we're going to start by adding 9. So now we have 2x is less than 3 plus 9 is 12. Now we divide by 2. So we have x is less than 12 divided by 2 is 6. So there's our solution. Now, is this value, x equals 6, part of the solution set? Can 6 be a solution to this? No, we don't have the equal to. So because it's 6 and this is 6, because there's no equal to on our inequality here, it's not true because this can't be 6. It's everything less than 6. So 5.9 Yes. 6, no. So you'll do the same thing on 9, 10, and 11. So be careful of whether or not the inequality has equal to or not, depending on what you get for solutions. And make sure you are checking to see if you have the inequality symbol correct way. All right, the next section, solve each inequality and graph the solution on the number line. So before, when we were graphing, we already had the solutions and we were just graphing them. Now we have to actually take and solve first, then graph. So we're going to look at number 13. So we have negative 3x minus 4 is greater than 2. So we start by adding 4. So we have negative 3x is greater than 2 plus 4 is 6. Then we divide by negative 3. Divide by negative 3. What happens when we divide by a negative? It flips the inequality. So we're going to have x. Hang on. X, our original inequality was greater, so now it's going to be less than. And then 6 divided by negative 3 is negative 2. So we come over here to our number line and we find negative 2. Are we going to have an open or closed circle? It's going to be open because we do not have the equal to. So we have our open circle, and it's going to go to the left because it's everything less than negative 2. All right, the next one we're looking at is number 15. So we have x divided by 5 is greater than negative 3/10. So to get rid of this 5, hang on. We multiply both sides by 5. That cancels that out. So we have x is greater than. Now, if we take a negative 3/10 and we multiply it by 5, we're going to get negative 15 over 10, which is going to give us negative 1.5. So x is greater than negative 1.5. So we come over here to our graph. Here's negative 1, here's negative 1.5. Are we going to have an open circle or a closed circle? It will be open because we do not have the equal to on our inequality. And then which direction will it go? To the left or to the right? To the right, because it's everything greater than the negative 1.5. All right, the last one I'm doing from this section is number 17. So here we have x divided by negative 7 is greater than or equal to negative 5. So just like the last one, we're going to multiply by the denominator. So multiply by that negative 7. So we have x. Now, we multiplied by a negative, which means what do we do with the inequality symbol? We flip it. So this becomes less than or equal to. Negative 5 times negative 7 is positive 35. So we find positive 35. So 31, 32, 33, 34, 35. Is it going to be an open or closed circle? This one will be closed because we have the equal to on our inequality. And which direction is this going to go? To the left, because it's less than or equal to. All right, for number 19. So 19 is probably the most confusing one on here. In order to take and solve this, we need to multiply by the denominator. So we're going to multiply both sides by 12. That'll cancel out the denominator here. So we have 3 times x minus 4. Now, when multiplying by 12 here, 2 times 12 is 24. So we have 24x over 3. 24 divided by 3 is 8. So we have 8x. So that eliminated the fraction from both sides. So that made this a lot easier. Now we distribute the 3. So we have 3x minus 12 is less than or equal to 8x. Subtract the 3 because we need our variables to be on the same side. So we have a negative 12 is less than or equal to 5x. 8 minus 3 is 5. Last step, we divide by 5. So for this, we are going to get a fraction. So we are going to get negative 12/5 is less than or equal to x. And there's our solution. So you're just solving the multi-step equation on each of these. So on 20, distribute first, then get your x's to one side, your constants to the other. This one, get your constants to one side, your x's to the other, and solve. You're just trying to get x by itself. All right, the last section, we're looking at substitution and solving systems of equations using substitution. So it gives you an example here that you can look back on if you're confused. For 21, we have y equals 5 and we have negative x plus y equals 1. So we're going to take what y equals, which is 5, and plug it into the other equation. So we're going to have negative x plus 5 equals 1. We subtract the 5. We get negative x equals negative 4. Divide by negative 1. Divide by negative 1. So x equals 4. Now remember, with systems of equations, your answers have to be in ordered pair form. So your 4 goes right there because it's xy. So these will all be in xy form for your answers. So we just solved for x. We already knew what y was, so there is our answer. 4, 5 is the intersection point. So 22 will be just like that. 23 and 24 are a little different. So is 26. So 23, 24, and 26, they are all the same. First thing you have to do is get one of your equations solved for a variable. So we're looking at 24. We have 3x equals 12. Divide both sides by 3. We end up with x equals 4. Now, we take that 4 and we plug it in for x. So we have 4 times 4 minus y equals 5. 4 times 4 is 16. Now we subtract the 16. So we end up with negative y equals 5 minus 16 is a negative 11. Once again, divide by negative 1. So y equals 11. So our ordered pair, 4, 11. This is your answer. And then 25 is different than all of them. So in this case, we have both equations are y equals 2x minus 5 and y equals x plus 8. So because they both equal y, that means we can set them equal to each other. So we have 2x minus 5 equals x plus 8. Subtract the x. So we have x minus 5 equals 8. Add the 5 over. So x equals 13. Now, we plug this 13 back in for x in one of our two equations. So I'm going to plug it into the bottom one. So I'm going to have y equals 13 plus 8. 13 plus 8 is 21. So y equals 21. So my ordered pair is 13, 21. So that is what you guys are doing for this section. So your keyword for this lesson is inequality. Inequality is your keyword for this lesson. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask. Have a great day. Bye, guys.